We are back on Get Up with football in a game that we are calling Bets of Steel. Not to be confused with Blue Steel.
You getting ready to unveil La Tigra? Is that the other one?
That's the other one. All right. All right, let's go. Aaron Rodgers, touchdown passes prop, 22.5. What are you playing?
Under. Doesn't seem like a big number, but since the NFL moved to a 17-game schedule 4 years ago, you get an average of about 13 quarterbacks per year who hit this mark. So again, it's not something that's hit all that frequently. Age is a concern, health is a concern, the offensive line is a concern, the depth at the wide receiver unit is a concern. Second half of that schedule, brutal as well. I play under 22.5.
All right, so the under for the touchdown passes prop. Passing yardage prop, 3,200.5 yards. What are you playing?
This would also be an under, but not as convincing. Again, last 4 years since we moved to a 17-game schedule, about 17 quarterbacks per year hit this mark. A little less confident in this one, but the one thing to keep in mind, when you're going to bet overs on passing, you need teammates, playmakers. You need a favorable schedule, especially indoor games. One indoor game this season for Pittsburgh. Late in the year, it's going to be a lot of outdoor games, a lot of weather, a lot of wind. That wreaks havoc on the passing game.
That is such a nugget of 17 games, one indoor game. Thank you so much. You did us correct. Yeah. Pittsburgh, win total, over, under, 8.5.
So you get the trend here. We're going to go under 8.5. Couple things to keep in mind. As of right now, the Steelers are a dog in 11 of 17 games. 11 of 17, they're listed as an underdog. Last year, Aaron Rodgers with the Jets when he was an underdog, 0-6. Didn't spring a single upset. Now, on top of that, a couple big regression indicators. Number one, last 5 years, Pittsburgh has won 71% of their one-score games. That's not going to continue. Regression indicator number two, last year Pittsburgh was number 2 in the NFL in turnover differential. Good luck maintaining that. 10th hardest schedule in the NFL as well. It's going to be close, but I'd go under 8.5.
By the way, our studio audience over there in the set, the entirety of it, Bart, Graziano, Mike T, they all looked over here and they were going, there they are. So they were going under. They all.
Smart group. It's a real smart group.
It was all unders. And Graziano was kind of like, I don't know.
No, it's Tomlin.
I do want to get some college football with you, but before we do that, here's Ben Roethlisberger on the Rodgers and Arthur Smith's offense.
So you can tell Aaron Rodgers you can't check the line of scrimmage.
And I'm sure they won't. I mean,
I was told that they told Russ he couldn't, but I'm not trying to put them. They're a different player. I get that, but I can't imagine that he's going to be like, hey, Aaron, you run what I call every time.
All right, so this is all about a relationship with the quarterback and the offensive coordinator. They've been to the playoffs. They've been bounced 8 straight years. Let's start with the relationship between Aaron Rodgers and Arthur Smith. Is that enough to get going right away, to get them beyond what we've seen them do the last 8 years?
Well, no, because I think there are other issues with the Steelers. I think, the relationship between Aaron Rodgers and what Ben's talking about, they didn't want Russell Wilson to go off script because that caused problems for Russell Wilson and his team the 2 years he was in Denver, the later part of his year in Seattle, or his career in Seattle. So they wanted to make sure that he stayed on script. I don't think that Arthur Smith's going to require that of Aaron Rodgers as much as he did Russell Wilson. Different players, as Roethlisberger said. I think the issue with the Steelers is, are they good enough as a team? I mean, Aaron Rodgers is 41. By the time the playoffs start, if they get there, he's going to be 42. Can he stay healthy throughout the season? They have one established receiver, DK Metcalf, who over a 6-year NFL career has averaged 73 catches a year. Their average age on their starting defense is right around 28, which would make it one of the oldest in the league, and they don't even have T.J. Watt in camp yet because of a contract dispute. They got a rookie running back. God help that kid if he blows something in pass protection early on. Right. Like, there are some issues with this team that go well beyond what is Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers' relationship going on.
Mike T, they made this. They could have gone one and done in the playoffs this year with Mason Rudolph. But they got Aaron.
Actually, they did 2 years ago.
That's right. So they got Aaron Rodgers to get over that one and done 8-year slump.
Yeah, and you want to look at it as the glass is half full. What does Arthur Smith want to do? He wants to be under center, play action. Hebo gave me great stats. Over the last couple of years, 41% under center for Arthur Smith, well above league average, 31% play action. So Caleb Johnson, the rookie that Dan was referencing, is really the key here. If they can run the ball effectively, Matt, then yes, I think the Aaron Rodgers move has a chance of working in a really material way, because that's what Aaron Rodgers can do. He can turn his back to the line of scrimmage, play action, and then throw with great accuracy. If they can't run the ball, he is a athletically diminished, soon-to-be 42-year-old quarterback who is not in the offseason. Art, you know the history in our league says when you're not in the offseason program and you're over 40, the odds are massively against you. Again, I give Aaron Rodgers credit for signing and trying to do this, but why not do it 2 months ago? Give yourself the best chance to be successful.
Like I keep repeating, I did it with Steve McNair. We signed him June 6th. We went 13-3, was the #1 seed in the AFC. You talk about that rookie running back. Now, you had a Sean Green, and Sean Green was really a spark for us that year. We ran the ball. We know that Iowa can produce those in between the tackles, downhill running, which is exactly what Tomlin wants to do. And I think they'll preserve Aaron Rodgers by running the football. He's not going to be in for pass protection because they have Darnell Washington, they have Fairmouth. They'll go 2 tight ends. They'll let these guys go in and leak him out. They won't have him protection. But, when you talk about Arthur Smith, what Arthur Smith wants, and what he wants is time. He wants you to play on time. And what was the big issue with Russell Wilson? He didn't play on time. Some of his biggest plays in a moon ball came off schedule type of plays. Aaron Rodgers is a guy that I think still can play at a high level. You talk about him turning the ball over. Aaron Rodgers, he'll turn the ball over above his natural average last year. And there was only 11 interceptions on a bad football team. I think this team is a live dog, and I think they can win.
Yeah, look, again.
Yeah, I said it. Go to break right now.
No, that's it. We're going to clip that off.
Wait, Bart,
quick.
You just said under on 8.5, and you're...
I didn't say under, I said over. That was you, Ricky Bobby.
Check the tape.
Steve McNair was 33 in 2000.
Steve McNair had an injury.
8 years younger.
Yeah, but he had an injury list. He was an old 33.
All right, this is a good
disregarded for Vince Young.
This was a good sound off, but it's time for the official sound off with LSU head coach Brian Kelly. One of the College Game Day podcast had some thoughts on the hype behind Arch Manning at the season.
Manning is extremely talented, but he's got to go do it. And there's going to be a couple of days where it doesn't come out the way it's supposed to. How do you bounce back? How do you come back from that? How does it work the next week in your game plan? So there's a lot out there. I can see the assessment of Manning. He's an outstanding player. But I'll take the guy that's been in the SEC and seeing what it looks like.
And taking the guy to be Garrett Nussmeier, the starting quarterback coming in for LSU. I'm going to stop for a little.
I felt that way too. I wasn't sure if I could make the call.
That's a New York City apartment.
Let's widen it out here.
What is the outlook for Brian Kelly at LSU?
Win total's 8.5. I bet the over. Last year was the time to sell high. They were coming off that surprising 9-3 season. Now we want to buy low at 8-4. Nussmeier's back, tied for second in Heisman Trophy voting, or I should say odds right now at 9-1. 31 games of experience, which is huge. I do think the more prudent approach here, wait until they lose to Clemson in week 1, then buy in at the distressed price. Yeah, I said it.
You're already in on that one. Clemson over LSU, week 1.
Much so.
Well, we have about 10 or 11 weeks to get into that. So going back to his point with Arch Manning and Texas, are we overestimating Arch, Sark, and the Texas Longhorns, who've been in the playoffs back-to-back years?
Oh, yeah. They might be the most overvalued team in all of college football this year. The win total's 10.5. You're only playing 12 games. Conference championships, playoffs, that stuff doesn't count. I bet the under. All we need are 2 losses. I see them losing to Ohio State to open the season. And then as you work your way down, there are plenty of problems. Road game at Florida, road game at Georgia, 4th toughest schedule in the nation. So, yeah, under 10.5. I think this is a team that's very overvalued.
Yeah, they've got a lot coming back. They have the quarterback. You're right, that is a tough schedule. I'll say this for you because we got to wrap it up. But you like Clemson this year, that's one of the teams that you're keeping an eye on. But you've already got to beat an LSU. Find me 3 losses on their schedule. There's not 3 losses on the schedule. Do some research there. No, you won't. Yeah, I will. Coming up, the Thunder.